Hi, welcome to the Ultimate Sports Blog podcast. Today is Thursday, February 22nd, 2018. Today I'm going to give you guys my third mock draft, the second full one I'm doing on this podcast because the first one I did in my podcast I gave out the top 10. The second one I did the whole 32. This one I'm going to do the whole 32. Let's get it going. Number 1, Cleveland Browns. I have them taking Sam Darnold, the quarterback from USC. The Browns are insistent to snag a potential franchise quarterback in this draft, and Darnold would seem like the best bet here. They have passed on Carson Wentz and Deshaun Watson in the past 2 drafts, and I'm sure they regret it. Don't sleep on the possibility of Josh Allen going first, by the way, because I've seen a couple people say that that's a possibility. Number 2, New York Giants, Saquon Barkley, running back, Penn State. There has been some talk lately that the Giants will pass on a possible franchise quarterback for the future, and Barkley would be an outstanding fit here, assuming the Giants address their offensive line in free agency. If they go with Barkley here, they can possibly pick a possible Eli Manning replacement in a later round. Number 3, Indianapolis Colts. Bradley Chubb, defensive end, North Carolina State. With Barkley off the board, the Colts go with the need pick. That said, Chubb would be a great pick here since he's a 3-down back that would help them stop the likes of Deshaun Watson and Marcus Mariota within their division. Number 4, Cleveland Browns via the Houston Texans. Minkah Fitzpatrick, a defensive back from Alabama. The Browns should go defense with this pick if Barkley is off the board, and Fitzpatrick is the best defensive player perhaps in this draft. He would have an immediate impact on a secondary that needs playmakers due to his versatility. Number 5, Denver Broncos, Josh Rosen, quarterback, UCLA. This pick changes if the Broncos land Kirk Cousins in free agency. Rosen is the type of talent John Elway is looking for and could very well be the best quarterback in this draft. Number 6, Josh Jackson, cornerback, Iowa. There are reports around saying that the Jets are the favorites for Kirk Cousins. Let's say they sign Cousins and they use this pick elsewhere. Jackson is an excellent man-to-man coverage and comes off a season in which he led the nation in interceptions. He'd be a nice fit in that young secondary the Jets are building. Number 7, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Quentin Nelson, the guard from Notre Dame. The Bucs have a needed offensive line, and Nelson can fit in right away. Nelson seems like a sure thing and worthy of a top 10 pick and will help the Bucs on the interior of the offensive line and will serve good for Jameis Winston. Number 8, Chicago Bears, Calvin Ridley, wide receiver, Alabama. The Bears have a huge need at wide receiver, and Ridley fits the bill. Ridley brings a downfield speedy option on the outside, and the Bears have lacked that for a few years now. Number 9, San Francisco 49ers, Denzel Ward, cornerback, Ohio State. The Niners have options here, and Ward would be a great pick because it fills a need in the secondary. Ward isn't the biggest cornerback in the draft, but he can cover skills that are hard to come by in the NFL. Number 10, Oakland Raiders, Roquan Smith, linebacker, Georgia. The Raiders have had a need in the off-ball linebacker position, and Smith would fill that need. Smith brings speed and athleticism, and that would be another dimension to a young defense. Number 11, Miami Dolphins, Josh Allen, quarterback, Wyoming. This pick would be fascinating and would say a lot about whether Ryan Tannehill remains with the Dolphins long-term or not due to his injury concerns. That said, Allen draws comparisons to Carson Wentz, and he has a ton of upside due to his arm strength, size, and athleticism. Number 12, Cincinnati Bengals, Mike McGlinchey, offensive tackle, Notre Dame. The Bengals have to come out of this draft with a better plan for their offensive line after the disaster in 2017, and McGlinchey is a great step in the right direction. He has proven himself against some of the country's best edge rushers during his Notre Dame career, and he'll improve both the pass and run blocking for a team that desperately needs it. Number 13, Washington Redskins, Tremaine Edmunds, linebacker, Virginia Tech. The Redskins are an ideal landing spot for Edmunds, who can thrive immediately with an underrated defensive line behind him. He brings a combination of size and athleticism that can change the way the league views a traditional linebacker. Number 14, Green Bay Packers, Derwin James, strong safety, Florida State. Perhaps the best defensive playmaker in the draft. James is the new NFL prototype as a safety capable of producing against the run or both man and zone coverage. Florida State also used him as a pure edge rusher, where he regularly pressured the quarterback. Number 15, Arizona Cardinals. Baker Mayfield, quarterback, Oklahoma. The Cardinals are a trade-up candidate if they don't land Kirk Cousins in free agency. Let's say they draft Mayfield here, who has a ton of potential with his gunslinger mentality, although, due to his height off-the-court antics, is compared to Johnny Manziel. Number 16, Baltimore Ravens. Orlando Brown, offensive tackle, Oklahoma. The Ravens would be wise to trade down for a wide receiver, but instead they get a possible steal here with Brown. He will help protect Joe Flacco and bolster the running game. Number 17, Los Angeles Chargers. Deron Payne, defensive tackle, Alabama. The Chargers pose what is arguably the best edge rush duo in the league with Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram. Adding someone like Payne would only make that defensive line better. Number 18, Seattle Seahawks. Connor Williams, offensive tackle, Texas. A big issue with the Seahawks is protecting Russell Wilson. Williams is coming off a knee injury, but he has a ton of upside and will help the offensive line protect Wilson. Number 19, Dallas Cowboys. Vita Vea, defensive end, Washington. Vea, a massive presence in the middle of the defensive line, will go a long way toward fixing that deficiency, while also providing enough quickness to penetrate into the backfield on some third downs. Number 20, Detroit Lions. Harold Landry, outside linebacker, Boston College. Landry had a good but not great of a final season of college, as he was a projected top 10 pick not that long ago before he suffered an injury. Landry will likely be a solid pro and a guy that Matt Patricia would like for his defense, and also provides insurance for Ziggy Ansah. Number 21, Buffalo Bills. Cortland Sutton, wide receiver, SMU. Sutton put together back-to-back seasons of 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns, and he scored 32 times in all 3 seasons with the Mustangs. The Bills also have a huge need at wide receiver, even with the trade for Kelvin Benjamin, and he and Sutton would make a nice receiving combo. Number 22, Buffalo Bills via the Kansas City Chiefs. Mason Rudolph, quarterback, Oklahoma State. Tyrod Taylor's tenure with the Bills is likely over, so they should take a quarterback with one of their 2 first-rounders. Rudolph's an experienced pocket passer with a nice downfield touch. Number 23, Los Angeles Rams. Isaiah Oliver, cornerback, Colorado. Oliver has some good size and has the potential to be a solid pro. The Rams have a need in the secondary, and Oliver would be a nice fit. 24, Carolina Panthers. James Washington, wide receiver, Oklahoma State. This would be a great fit considering the Panthers have a need at wide receiver after trading Kelvin Benjamin away. He has the speed and route running to be the first receiver off the board in a wide receiver class with no clear favorite at the top. 25, Tennessee Titans. Rashad Evans, linebacker, Alabama. Alabama continues to churn out linebacker prospects, and Evans brings an athletic presence who can fill multiple roles. He was more of an edge defender earlier in his career, and he pressured the quarterback of 67 of his 284 career rushes. However, he has also showed well in more of a traditional role over the last 2 years. 26, Atlanta Falcons. Taven Bryan, defensive end, Florida. The Falcons don't have any major needs, but bolstering the defensive line could be necessary if Dontari Poe leaves in free agency. Bryan has drawn comparisons to J.J. Watt and would bring depth to the Falcons' defensive line. Number 27, New Orleans Saints. Billy Price, center, Ohio State. The Saints' offensive line isn't bad, but Price would be a great value pick here. Price will strengthen what is already a good offensive line and would be a nice fit. Number 28, Pittsburgh Steelers. Carlton Davis, cornerback, Auburn. Picking Davis here would turn the Steelers' secondary into a strength, with him joining Artie Burns and Joe Hayden if Hayden sticks around. They would love his physicality and has more of it than Burns. Number 29, Jacksonville Jaguars. Isaiah Wynn, guard, Georgia. Wynn would bring a nice upgrade to a Jags offensive line to take pressure off of Blake Bortles and Leonard Fournette. He can play tackle if he needed, but will succeed as a guard instantly. He plays with outstanding leverage and has the athleticism to mirror pass rushers. 30, Minnesota Vikings. Maurice Host, defensive tackle, Michigan. Hurst doesn't have the size. Teams are generally looking for an interior defensive lineman, but his quickness more than makes up for that deficiency and makes him a particular great threat rushing the passer on third downs. 31, New England Patriots. Ogbonnia Okoronkwo, defensive end, Oklahoma. The Patriots have a need at cornerback now that Malcolm Butler is likely headed out. But with Okoronkwo still on the board, the Pats address the pass rushing deficiencies and will circle back to the secondary needs in the later rounds. Number 32, Philadelphia Eagles. Chukwuma Okorafor, offensive tackle, Michigan. Okorafor is in the mold of a franchise left tackle, and he has traits that suggest he'll become exactly that. If he has point of attack strength, he'll be a monster in the NFL. And don't forget, Jason Peters is 36, so they need a long-term replacement for him. That's my third edition of the mock draft. I'll be back tomorrow with recap of what's gone on in the NBA tonight, what's gone on in college basketball tonight and last night, an NHL trade that happened tonight, maybe some baseball, and a lot more. I'll talk to you all tomorrow, everybody.